Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I do happen to have a yoga mat. If you're without one, find a place in your house that's got some carpeting. Maybe you've got a rug that's not too slippery. I want you to stay away from surfaces that are slick or too hard. I have a folded blanket. It's literally the throw blanket from my couch. You could do the same. Maybe a beach towel, even a bath towel would be fine. It's nice to have something to pad knees or sit up on. You can also snag a couch cushion for something to sit on. 2 yoga blocks. Really great substitute for that would be 2 thick books. And we will start standing in our mountain pose. The pose that we do most often and every day, wouldn't you say? Now make some circles, arms out in front of you, and then big wide like you're going to give somebody a big bear hug, and then swoop behind you. And let this happen at the shoulder joint, so that now as we swoop and we let our arms settle to our sides with our palms facing out, we know that that's originating at our shoulder joint and not just a flick of our wrist. Let there be a soft bend in your knees. Your feet are hip distance and parallel. And then we'll just take note a little bit of our tendencies in our posture, not with judgment, just with curiosity. All of us have a tendency to collapse our chest, slump a little bit. This swooping, scooping of air and turning our palms out will help us lift our hearts. And our hearts are different than jutting our chin. So let your chin be parallel to the ground, and then I'll be quiet for a moment and allow you just to land and to start to experience your breath. Really notice your inhales and your exhales. Let those inhales and exhales inspire. And inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape. And then exhale, float your arms along your sides, palms facing out. Just like that. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, float your arms along your sides, palms facing out. 2 more times. Inhale, V. Exhale, palms face out. Last one. Inhale, V. Exhale, arms along your sides. Let's add on. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bend your knees, take your hands to your thighs. So hinge at your hips means not rounding into the fold, and hands on your thighs means that you can actually traction your hands and see what kind of space you can inspire from your tailbone out the crown of your head. Keep that space, just start to venture your hands down. They don't have to go any further than where we are, but you might slide them down your shins and towards your ankles. What I want us to refine is that we're not rounding. We hinge and we don't care how close we get to the ground. We just don't. Slide your hands back up. Inhale. Use that traction again to find even more space, as if you could, in between your vertebra. And then arms to the sky, V shape as we inhale. And then float your arms alongside you. We'll keep adding. Inhale, V. Exhale, hinge, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Slide your hands up. Inhale, lift your heart. This time, bend your knees deeply. Plant your hands flat on the ground, shoulder distance, and walk yourself back to an inverted V, into down dog. As you do that, I don't want you to collapse in between your shoulders. So actively push the ground away. Imagine a hook in your tailbone, taking your hips towards that corner where the wall and the ceiling meet. And then you might benefit from stepping your feet as wide as your mat. Let's all bend our knees and come up onto our toes a little bit. So we're not anxious to get our heels down. We're really interested in making space in our spine and really our torso, all 4 sides of our torso. Walk your feet forward to your hands hip distance. Slide your hands up and inhale. Glide your hands down as we exhale. And then we inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and we stand with our palms facing out in our mountain pose. We'll keep adding. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Glide your hands up, inhale, bend your knees, palms go flat, shoulder distance. The hook in your tailbone guides you back into down dog. And this time we shift forward, shoulders over our wrists. Make sure we're not collapsed in our shoulders, so continue the push. Place your knees down. It's a kickstand. It's a modified plank. I do want us to be very conscientious not to collapse here. So be active in your arms. You'll feel what's called protraction in your shoulder blades. That means they're kind of moving away from each other, not towards each other. And then let's firm our bellies and come all the way down onto those firm bellies. Let your elbows brush against your ribs. Uncurl your toes. And Sphinx pose is forearms parallel to the long edges of our mat. Activate your legs by pressing the tops of your feet down so your kneecaps lift up. Traction your elbows towards you. We're still not collapsed into our shoulders. So it's a bit of a karate chop and then the traction. Think of this as the counter pose to the hours that we spend seated at our computer, in front of the TV, in front of a steering wheel. Lower down. Slide your hands back next to your ribs and see if this is a position that works for you to come back into that long, strong back bend. So we're activating our legs, tops of the feet press, elbows are in. We're not resorting to throwing the chin forward. We're letting the shoulder blades now move towards each other. The exact opposite of what I just said when we were in plank. Lower down. Place your hands next to your ribs. Curl your toes under. So if you went back to Sphinx pose, bring them back here. In one chunk, we come to all fours, and when we do, we're back to feeling our shoulder blades protracting, meaning they're not collapsed in on each other anymore. Let's find the hook in our tailbone, ride it into down dog, and then walk forward, feet come to your hands, hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up, inhale. Glide your hands down, exhale. Inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then we pause with our palms facing out. Let's flow that sun salutation. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs or shins or ankles. Glide your hands up and inhale. Bend your knees, palms flat, step back, downward facing dog. From down dog, shift forward and actively push the ground away so we find those shoulder blades not colliding towards each other. Knees come down, belly firm, all the way to the ground. Uncurl your toes, either keep your hands where they are or put your forearms down for Sphinx. And we come up and now our shoulder blades do come towards each other. Lower down, curl your toes under, core firm, all fours. And then our hook in our tailbone takes us back to down dog. Empty out, walk, float, feet to hands. So wander forward, glide your hands, inhale, lift your heart, and exhale, fold back in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, V, and then we stand in our mountain. One more time, just like that. Inhale, V. Exhale, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles as we hinge at our hip. Inhale, glide your heart forward, bend your knees, palms go flat, step back to your down dog. In your down dog, shift it forward, shoulders over wrists, and then knees down, and we slowly lower all the way to our belly. Uncurl your toes, press the tops of your feet down, bring yourself into cobra or Sphinx. Lower down, curl your toes under, we come through all fours. And then the hook in our tailbone takes us back to down dog. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Hip distance and parallel, slide your hands up, inhale, and then we fold, hinging, exhale. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, and then we pause here, palms facing out. Let's feel how we feel so far. Mindfulness is moment-to-moment awareness without judgment. We can practice mindfulness right now and throughout the day. We'll take a chair pose. That means we're not sitting as if to make our way onto a bar stool. We're sitting back and down. It's that hip hinge again. And then V-shape your arms, thumbs to the sky. Your weight will feel more settled into your heels than into your toes if you shift your weight back. We'll fold forward, hands to shins, maybe to your thighs, and then palms go flat. Step back from here to down dog, so make sure your hands are planted flat. In down dog, lift your right leg back behind you And then use a little velocity to step it through, and you might need to help it along. While we're down here, reach over and grab your 2 blocks or books and position them on either side of your mat. Not atop your mat, but on either side. Walk that right foot to the right a little bit so you've created some sideways space for yourself. I have my hands on my blocks. You can also have fingertips on the ground. Let's start by bending our back knee and climbing our hands onto our right thigh, and then arms out to the side, and we V-shape. You might take on the project of straightening your left leg, your back leg a little bit. If that's pitching you forward or pinching in your back, just keep that bend in your back knee. It's a great way to do this. We'll bring our hands maybe by way of our thighs and our blocks, but to the ground and into down dog. You can stay here in down dog or join me as we come forward, shoulders over wrists, knees down, lower all the way to your belly. Uncurl your toes, activate your long, strong back bend. Press into the tops of your feet. Lower down and now curl your toes back under. Nice firm core as we come to all fours, and then our hips take us up and back into down dog. Lift your left leg behind you. Step that left foot forward. Feel free to help it along. We'll stay down here and situate our hands on our blocks unless you prefer to keep your fingertips on the ground. Walk that left foot a little to the left so we've got our bodies off the feeling of being on a tightrope and feeling like they've got a little bit more space. Bend your right knee, your back knee. Climb your hands on top of your left thigh, and then arms out to the side, thumbs to the sky, and a V. You can always take your hands back to that thigh if that was working really well for you. And remember the project, should you choose to be interested in it, of straightening your back leg, but that's not a status symbol. It's just an option. 2 moments. Your hands can come to your thighs, your blocks, or straight to your mat, and we'll step to down dog together. From down dog, walk yourself forward, feet to your hands. Glide your hands up your shins. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, hinge and fold. We'll take our chair pose, so shift the weight back and down, V-shape or arms out to the side. Remember, your weight is in your heels more than your toes. We stand up and float our arms along our sides, palms facing out. We'll add a little twist, literally, to what we just did. Sit back and down for chair pose, and then hands to thighs or shins or ankles. Glide your hands up as we inhale, and then bend your knees. Palms go flat. We step to downward facing dog. Once we land in down dog, right leg lifts, and we step it through. We can help it along. Hands on blocks or fingertips on the ground, maybe right foot over to the right a little bit. We'll keep our left hand on our block or fingertips on the ground and right arm to the sky. Now here's the thing. It's tempting to swing our butt out to the right. Hug that right hip towards the midline as you turn from your waist, and we inspire a little bit of mobility in our trunk more than swinging our hips around. 2 moments here. Return your right hand onto your block or fingertips on the ground. Palms go flat and we step to down dog, where we might decide to stay or shift it to plank, shoulders over wrists. All of these push-uppy things are totally optional. Bring your knees down, lower all the way onto your belly. Uncurl your toes, activate your legs, traction with your hands or your forearms, lower down, curl your toes under. In one chunk, we come to all fours, and then the hook in our tailbone takes us back to down dog. Lift your left leg back behind you, step it forward, help it along, fingertips or hands on blocks, and you might heel toe your left foot over to the left a little bit. Right hand stays on our block, left arm up to the sky. We want to be careful that we don't swing that left hip out to the side, that we're hugging that hip into the midline. And another thing to look out for is that we're not collapsed into that right shoulder. So keep oomping into that right arm as we turn towards the left. And it's a turn from our waist. 2 moments here. Unwind your hands to your blocks or fingertips to the ground. Palms go flat on the ground. We make our way to downward facing dog. And then walk your feet forward to your hands. Hip distance and parallel at the front edge of your mat. Glide your hands up, inhale. Slide your hands down as we exhale. We'll take a chair pose. And while we're here in chair pose, I'm going to turn towards you so it's a little easier to follow. Bring your hands into a prayer. Take your left elbow to the inside of your left thigh and twist yourself towards the right. You might take your left elbow on the outside of your right thigh, but if that's collapsing that leg in, I find it better to use same arm and leg. So in this case, left elbow on the inside of your left thigh. And then we'll come to center in our chair and stand it up and pause, arms along our sides. Second side of that twist, I'm going to stay facing you. Chair pose, hands in a prayer. Right elbow, I think, inside of right thigh, but you might choose outside of left thigh. Remember, if the whole thing's collapsing, it might behoove you to keep right elbow inside of right thigh. Let's think shoulder blades are trying to actually do like the Sphinx pose, moving towards each other. So this isn't a crumbled twist. This is an elegant twist. Down the middle in chair, thumbs to the sky, and then stand it up. Arms along your sides, and a pause. Facing that short edge, you may have been doing it the whole time. Let's take a chair pose for a moment. And then hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Glide your hands up, inhale, bend your knees, palms flat, step to down dog. In down dog, we lift our right leg, step it forward, help it along in any ways that are agreeable. I'm taking my hands on my blocks right away. Turn your left foot, back foot, flat. Walk your right foot to the right. We're in a pyramid pose, which makes this alignment maybe a little bit clearer. It's very tempting, again, to swing our right hip out, especially if things are tight. You can use even more than a block to create some space here. And we'll swing our right hip back and our left hip forward. We're not locked in any of this, so I always think of pressing my right big toe down into the mat so I can feel muscles called to action. We want our muscles to protect our joints. And it's not that just today, if you lock your right knee out, that you're doing damage, but it's a habit that we want to get into throughout the day, not just on our mat, but what we practice here, like that mindfulness we take out there. Now keep your left hand on your block and start to swoop your right arm to the sky. We're still trying to keep that right hip in towards a midline, and we take a pause here. 3 moments in our what's called twisting triangle. And then release your hands to your blocks or to the ground. Spin on your back toes, bend your right knee, palms flat, down dog. And like we've been up to, option to stay in your down dog or come to plank. Bring your knees to your mat, lower all the way down. Uncurl your toes, activate your legs, cobra or sphinx. Lower back down, curl your toes under, come through all fours, and then our hook in our tailbone takes us to our inverted V, our down dog. Lift your left leg back behind you, step that left foot forward, situate your blocks under your hands if that's helpful, turn your back foot, right foot on its side, and begin to move your left leg towards straight. Now the other thing is, if your left leg doesn't get straight, no big whoop. You find the sweet spot where you know the porridge is just right. You're getting feedback that it's a challenge, but not electrical, sharp feedback. And not a place where it's frustrating. Let it stay fun. Left hip is drawing back, right hip is drawing forward as best we can. You might even elevate your hands more so that the hip hinge we've talked about is present. 2 moments here. We'll keep our right hand on our block. Remember, left hip is going to try to swing out. We're going to ask it not to unless it's sparing you pain in your low back. And then left arm up to the sky. So anytime I give you an alignment point and you try it on for size and it doesn't fit right, you're the expert, I'm the guide. 3 moments twisting and turning in this new shape. And then unwind, either both hands to your blocks or maybe fingertips on your mat. Bend your left knee and spin on your right toes. Move your blocks out of the way, step to downward facing dog. From down dog, we walk our feet forward to our hands. Inhale, slide your hands up your shins, maybe to your thighs. Exhale, fold it in. Inhale, rise, reach, arms to the sky. We pause here, palms facing out. Take your 2 books or blocks and place them out in front of you, about a foot out in front of your feet there. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs. Inhale, lift your heart, and now place your fingertips on your blocks. If you don't have blocks, you could use the arm of your sofa for this part, if you'd like to. Stand on your right leg and extend your left leg back behind you. Keep your left hand on your block or maybe the arm of your sofa, and now turn towards your right, with your right arm up towards the sky. So you've got your left hand on your block, you're turning to the right, and we pause. A little bit of balance. Unwind your right hand down, your left foot down. Keep your hands on your blocks. We'll switch sides. If you need to stand up, shake it out and come back, go for it. Stand on your left leg and now extend that right leg back behind you in a letter T. If your blocks feel like they're a little too low, then maybe that arm of your sofa is beckoning. Keep your right hand on your block. Float your left arm for our twist. Do the best that you can. A few moments here, just playing with our balance, remembering our breath. Unwind, left hand to your block, right foot down. Move your blocks off to the side. Take your hands onto your thighs. Press into your thighs, inhale, lift your heart, pause. Let it feel good. Right down the middle here. We will exhale, slide our hands down our legs. Place your palms flat. Step back to down dog, which is more than sufficient. If you want it, come to plank, shoulders over wrists, knees come down. We lower to our belly, and then we will be here on our bellies. So if you were in down dog, you can just slither yourself down here onto your belly, and then bend your knees so your feet are going towards the sky. We are not going to hold on. I'd like for you to feel like you're tucking your tailbone, which won't really be able to happen much because the ground is there. And then just take your arms back behind you, reach towards your legs, and continue to think of trying to tuck your tailbone. So this is not throwing our chin and dumping into our low back. This is posterior chain, back body strengthening. Maybe you try to lift both thighs off your mat. That can be a bit much for people's lower back, so make sure that that's not you, not too much for your low back. And then lower down, make a pillow with your hands, and windshield wiper your legs back and forth. That's the important part, by the way, of our back bends, if you want to call them that, is that they get us strong. Now, let's make our way, curl your toes under, come in one chunk to all fours, and then continue it back into a child's pose. You can take your knees a little bit wider, you can be on the tops of your feet, or keep your knees curled under, and there's just a little bit of a bow down the middle, a little bit of a moment down the middle. Bring yourself to seated, and once you're seated, take both legs out in front of you. I'll face you a little bit more so you can see me more easily. Bend your right knee, step that right leg over your straight left leg. Take your right hand back behind you. You might even benefit from having a block underneath that hand, and then give yourself a twist, either hug with your left arm, that right leg, or take that left elbow on the outside of your right thigh. Unwind. Place this right foot in the inseam of your left leg, and it might be that you take that block and place it underneath your right thigh. We'll twist. It's a little bit of a different twist. Right ribs towards that left leg, and sometimes using a couple of blocks on either side of that left leg is a nice way to do this too. Bring yourself upright. Help it along. So hold the outside of your right thigh, extend that right leg, and then bend your left knee and step that left leg over your straight right leg. Maybe a hand on a block behind you, left hand on your block. Right arm goes up. It could be that you hug this left leg or that you take your right tricep outside of your left thigh. And we take a moment or two to twist here. Lots of twisting today. That was the gist of this practice, is twisting poses. The gist was a twist. Unravel. Place your left foot in the inseam of your right leg. Feel free to use a block to support it. This time the twist is left ribs towards this straight right leg. If the block situated on either side of your straight leg was a nice thing, you can rearrange for that here as well. And then we bring ourselves up, and we'll place our left foot on the ground and our right foot on the ground. And then gently, slowly lower down vertebra by vertebra. Once we're here, tuck one shoulder blade and then the other underneath you. Walk your feet as wide as your mat and let your knees fall in on each other. Lift your hips just an inch off the ground. So when you lower your hips again, it feels like you just made a little bit of space. This might be where you stay for our rest and digest. If you like your legs straight for your Shavasana final meditation, straighten one leg and then the other. And let's let ourselves completely let go for 2 minutes. You're welcome to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation for as long as you would like. If it's time, give yourself a stretch. Collect your knees into your chest and roll to your side. And then we'll come up to any comfortable way to sit. Maybe that's cross-legged. Maybe you sit on one of your props. And with your palms up or down, take a moment just to feel. Maybe even feel a little gratitude. I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I look forward to us doing this again together soon.